Today, local Ghanaians lost it all when their structures were demolished by the Ghanaian government. This was a suddenly story, and it was by chance that I even stumbled upon it. On my way driving by, I noticed that a machine was out demolishing buildings, and I was like, what is going on? I was trying to look with everybody else, but I wasn't trying to be too nosy. But stay tuned for this story because we're going to get into it right after this. Where structures once stood, now lays a pile of rubble. Local Ghanaians lost it all when the government came in and bulldozed everything that they had worked so hard to build. This was so devastating to watch, and I'm sure even more devastating for them. It was a very sad day for some local Ghanaians here in the area, not too far from where we live. And it was unfortunate that they had to stand by and literally watch the government come in and demolish everything that they worked so hard for. This particular area was mostly used for mechanic work, so fixing cars and things of that nature, pumping tires. I even went there a few times myself, and it was a big help to me, being that it's literally right by where we live. It's very convenient. So when I came and I seen what was going on, I was trying to look but not look, but I'm just at the same time what's happening, and I was trying to figure it out. And it wasn't until the bulldozer left that I was able to speak to someone who was standing around and get the full story behind what had transpired. So apparently this particular area where they had gathered and created a little community of local mechanics, there was a woman who purchased land in the same area where the shops were located. So upon purchasing her land, she decided that she was basically tired of dealing with the people, dealing with the conditions that a mechanic shop can bring, and she began to inform them that they were a nuisance to her. Ultimately, the situation ended up in court. She won, and they were ordered to go in and demolish all of the building structures that stood. So can you just imagine just being in that predicament where you've built some livelihood for yourself, where this is your source of income, so you have your shop there to put some food on the table for your family, or even some people were residing there, so they even had some structures where people were living. Was it the best living conditions? Probably not, but at least it provided some form of roof over their head. To me, this act on her behalf was pure evilness, because number one, when you're going in to purchase land and you look around, you see that there is already a small thriving community that exists in this area. So why then would you go and purchase land here, build this beautiful more upscale structure, and then sit on your couch and decide you want to go tear down what somebody else has worked so hard to build? I don't see how she can even sleep at night doing something like that to other people and to families. How do you do something like that? Because you have more money, because your socioeconomic status is at a higher standard, that you feel like you can just take advantage of less fortunate people who don't have the financial means to fight back in court? It's just disgusting to me. You couldn't go up the road and find land somewhere else? Because I'm pretty sure when you went to go and purchase that land, you seen what was going on in the environment. So wouldn't you think, well, you know what, this is going on, this is not really my cup of tea, so let me go and keep it moving and find land elsewhere? Why would you come in and tear down a whole community? I felt so bad for these people. Her argument in court was this. She argued that this land that they had built these structures on was government property, that they had no right to be there because it really should be a road leading up to where her house is. So that was her argument in court, which ultimately won, because when they went back and looked at things and did more investigation into the situation, they realized indeed this is government property, and indeed they should not have put these structures on government property. And guys, to be honest with you, this happens over and over and over in Ghana with these land issues. So this is a perfect example of what can happen when you have land issues in Ghana. You will find yourself in a situation that you wish you was never in. And that's why I always stress that it's so important to be very careful when you're purchasing land here in Ghana, that you're taking the necessary precautions to protect yourself. Definitely always get a lawyer involved to make sure that the lawyer does all the necessary checks to look into the matter before you sign on that line and hand your money over. Because once you hand your money over, you know, it could be years down the line and then you find yourself in a whirlwind of hell because you thought that you was going by good faith and you was buying good land, and then it turns out that the land has issues on it. And that is the last thing that I want to see happen to anybody that is connected to this channel. And my prayer is always to just keep anybody safe that's moving forward and they're trying to purchase land here in Ghana. Keep them covered, keep them wise, give them wisdom, because you need it when you're moving forward and you're making these purchases, because it is devastating. Okay, when you put your money, your hard-earned money into something, and just to see it demolished, can you imagine how you would feel if you're coming and you're like literally putting thousands and thousands and thousands of your hard-earned money into a property, into a plot of land, into a structure, for it to be snatched away from you? So that is why you have to be so very careful. I mean, these are local Ghanaians that this happened to. People that live here, that were born here, native people to the area. And they have succumbed to the same land issues that so many other people have found themselves encountering. So it's not that they just target, you know, us African Americans or people that's coming from the diaspora. No, this land issue extends even to the native people of the area, which is why you have to be so careful and do your diligent search, because nobody wants to go through a situation like this. And all I can say, the word of wisdom that I can give, is to just always dot your I's and cross your T's and hire a lawyer to make sure that everything is done the way that it should be done, and so that you don't have any future issues such as this. So I even asked myself, what did this woman have to gain by destroying the lives of other people? And when you look at her house, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, you can tell that she put a lot of money into this investment. But when you stop and you think, really, what is the purpose? What is the point in her doing this to someone else? And in my opinion, I feel like with anybody else that purchases property, they don't want to see the value of what they have invested in go down. So she looked at this rusty, dusty mechanic shop and she was just like, oh, no, not in my area. And so she decided and determined and took upon herself that she wanted to be malicious and go to the courts to completely have this situation resolved and have these structures demolished. And so ultimately it ended up in the favor of her, because this was it was in fact government land, and the structures never should have been there to begin with. Really, it should be a road leading up to her house. I don't know what she's gaining from it other than just not wanting to see her property devalued as a result of these mechanic shops. Like I said, if you felt that way, ma'am, you could have went, you know, to another location and purchased land if you wanted this upscale, beautiful home, because not too far from where she purchased this plot of land and constructed her house at, if you keep going up about like maybe 3-4 miles up the road, it's going to be eventually a very beautiful, prominent area in Cape Coast. So why not just, you know, go on up the road a little bit and purchase something in that area that's already developing, that's already becoming beautiful? Like, why would you want to settle there where you see, I don't know. Yeah, it was just devastating to me. I feel so bad for these people that have been displaced as a result of this whole situation. And my heart really goes out to them. Just to see the look of despair on their faces and the devastation of this whole ordeal was just, it was so hurtful for me. And I don't see, as another human being, especially brown skin, how you can do this to your brother or your sister. So I don't know, y'all. Drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this situation. I'm Melody. You've tuned in to Juss Vlog, and don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell so every time I drop a new video, you're made aware.